The trendy café on the ground floor of Horizon Tower was buzzing with its usual morning crowd when my parents walked in 15 minutes late for our meeting. Mom's Gucci heels clicked against the polished concrete, her eyes scanning the industrial-chic space with barely concealed disdain. "Darling," she air-kissed my cheeks, "couldn't we have met somewhere more appropriate? The Plaza does a lovely business breakfast." I sipped my perfectly crafted latte, enjoying the irony. They had no idea I owned this building, including the five-star restaurant on the top floor where they'd tried and failed to get reservations last month. "This is convenient for my office," I replied, watching Dad check his Rolex. A cheap knockoff, though he pretended it was real. "Ah yes, your little workspace," he smirked. "Second floor, wasn't it? Must be cozy." Cozy. Their code word for small and unsuccessful. If they'd bothered to look up instead of down their noses, they might have noticed my actual office occupied the entire penthouse level. "It works for now," I smiled, checking my phone as another notification popped up. "Lease renewal contracts ready for signing. Restaurant reservations confirmed, all prime slots blocked. Building value up 15% this quarter. New tenants vetted and approved." "Speaking of work," Dad cleared his throat, "your mother and I were discussing your situation. There's an entry-level position opening at my firm." I bit back a laugh. His firm occupied 3 floors of my building, paying premium rent that I'd quietly raised every year. "That's thoughtful," I replied, "but I'm doing fine with my own business." "Fine." Mom's perfectly plucked eyebrows rose. "Darling, you work in a shared office space. That's hardly thriving." The shared office space she referred to was actually my property management company's public office. My real empire operated from the penthouse suite they'd never seen. "How are the renovations going?" I asked innocently, watching Dad's face tighten. "Renovations? In your office building," I clarified. "I heard the owner's planning some major changes." Dad shifted uncomfortably. "Just rumors. I had lunch with Bob from the management company yesterday. He assured me everything's staying the same." Bob, who reported directly to me through 3 layers of corporate structure. Bob, who'd been instructed to neither confirm nor deny any changes until today's meeting. My phone buzzed again. New lease terms processed. Security access updates ready. Parking garage reassignment complete. Top floor restaurant Phillips reservation cancelled. The last one made me smile. Dad had been bragging about getting a table at the exclusive rooftop venue for weeks. He didn't know I'd personally flagged his name for automatic cancellation. "Actually," I opened my laptop, "there are some changes we should discuss." "We?" Mom frowned, peering at my screen. "What would you know about the building management?" I turned the laptop to face them, displaying the property deed and ownership documents. "Everything, considering I own it." Dad's coffee cup crashed against the saucer. "What?" "Horizon Tower," I continued calmly, "along with the adjacent parking structure and the new development breaking ground next month, belongs to Phoenix Properties. My company." "That's impossible," he sputtered. "The building belongs to some overseas investment group." "A shell company," I corrected. "One of many I use for property acquisition. Would you like to see your new lease terms?" Mom's face had gone pale beneath her expensive foundation. "New lease terms. Market rate adjustments," I explained, sliding across a folder. "Your rent's been artificially low for years. Time to bring it in line with current values." "This is absurd," Dad blustered, but his hands shook as he opened the folder. "These rates. This is highway robbery." "That's capitalism, Dad. Isn't that what you always taught me?" "Property is power, your words if I remember correctly." My phone lit up with another update. Parking spaces reassigned. Executive elevator access modified. Building signage update scheduled. Mom's yoga studio membership terminated. The building's gym is being renovated too, I added. Unfortunately, your complimentary memberships won't carry over to the new facility. But my tennis group, Mom stammered. We'll need to find a new location, I finished. The rooftop court is being converted into a sustainable garden space. Great for property values. Dad was still staring at the lease terms, his face growing redder by the second. These building improvement fees are non-negotiable, I cut in. Just like the new parking arrangements. Your spaces are being relocated to B3. Great exercise climbing those stairs when the elevator's under maintenance. You can't do this, he tried. We have rights as tenants. Everything's perfectly legal, I assured him, pulling up more documents. Your original lease actually allows for all these changes. You did read it before signing, right? Their silence was answer enough. They'd assumed, like always, that their position and prestige would protect them. Of course, I continued, enjoying their discomfort. You could always relocate. I hear there's some affordable space opening up in the business park near the airport. The airport? Mom looked horrified. But all our clients might prefer a more modern facility anyway, I suggested. One with management that actually reads contracts before signing them. My phone buzzed one final time. New tenant inquiries for 15th floor. Property value assessment updated. Dad's parking pass deactivated. Restaurant confirming Philip's party cancellation. Oh, and Dad. I gathered my things, standing to leave. About your dinner reservation tonight? I'm afraid there was a system error. The restaurant is fully booked through next year. I left them sitting there, surrounded by papers showing just how completely their world had shifted. They'd spent years looking down on my small office, never thinking to look up at who actually owned the sky above them. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's watching them realize they've been paying rent to the child they called a failure. The next few weeks were a masterclass in watching privilege crumble. I observed it all from my penthouse office, where floor-to-ceiling windows offered a perfect view of their daily struggles. Your father tried to access the executive elevator again, my assistant reported, trying to hide her amusement. Security reminded him it's now penthouse access only. I watched through the security feed as Dad, red-faced and sweating in his designer suit, was directed to the service elevator. 3 times it stopped for maintenance staff before reaching his floor. How's the tenant association meeting going? I asked, knowing exactly how it was going. Your mother's motion to block the renovations was denied. Unanimously. Apparently but we've always done it this way, argument wasn't compelling. My phone buzzed with its morning updates. Building improvements on schedule. Dad's private parking spot reassigned to delivery vehicles. Mom's social club access revoked, space being converted. New lease terms distributed, 3 tenants already signed. Miss Phoenix, my assistant called. Your mother's in the lobby. Again. I pulled up the security feed. Mom stood there in last season's Prada, clutching her designer bag like a shield. Send her up. It's time she saw what her struggling daughter has built. The look on her face when the private elevator opened directly into my penthouse office was almost worth the years of condescension. Victoria, she gasped, taking in the panoramic views, the elegant modernist furniture, the clear symbols of success she'd been too blind to see. This is yours. All of it, I confirmed, not offering her a seat. The entire top floor. And the building. And the next 3 developments breaking ground this quarter. But how? She sank into a chair anyway, her perfectly maintained facade cracking. Your father said you were barely making rent in that small office downstairs. That small office is where I meet clients who don't need to know I own the building, I explained, watching her process the layers of deception she'd never suspected. Like Dad's competitors who are currently bidding on his floor space. Her head snapped up. Competitors. Several law firms are very interested in premium office space, I smiled, pulling up the proposals. Firms that, unlike Dad's, understand modern market rates and professional conduct. My phone lit up again. Dad attempting to schedule meeting with property management. Building security upgrades initiated. Mom's yoga group looking for new venue. Social club membership transfers denied. Victoria, be reasonable, she tried. We're your parents. This vendetta. Vendetta. I laughed, the sound sharp enough to make her flinch. Mom, this is business. Pure capitalism. Isn't that what you and Dad always preached? The market determines value. Unless it's your daughter determining that value. The new rates will kill your father's firm, she protested. His outdated practices and overinflated ego are killing his firm, I corrected. I'm just providing the venue for its natural demise. The intercom buzzed. Miss Phoenix? The contractors are ready to begin work on the social club level. Perfect timing, I smiled. Mom, would you like to see what's replacing your precious social club? The new wellness center will be quite impressive, though unfortunately membership will be selective. She followed me to the private elevator, still struggling to reconcile her image of her struggling daughter with the reality of my success. The building improvements she started are transforming this dated structure into a modern business hub, I finished. Complete with sustainable design, tech integration, and amenities that actually matter to today's professionals. And our lease is legally binding, I reminded her. Though there are some interesting clauses about behavioral standards and professional conduct. Dad might want to review those before his next outburst in the lobby. My phone buzzed continuously. Dad's firm losing clients to new tenants. Social media buzz about building upgrades. Property value projections exceeding estimates. Mom's bridge club seeking new venue. The elevator opened to the construction level, her former social sanctuary now stripped bare, ready for transformation. Your father's proud, she tried one last time. If you just talk to him. Like he talked to me. I turned to face her. All those years of dismissal, of mockery, of treating my business acumen as a cute hobby? Mom. Now he can experience what it's like to be powerless in someone else's building. We're family, she protested weakly. Family. I gestured to the demolition in progress. Was it family when you laughed at my tiny office? When you told your friends I was playing businesswoman? When you assumed your social status would protect you forever? The sound of breaking walls punctuated my words, a fitting metaphor for the breakdown of their privileged world. The market's changing, Mom, I continued as she winced at the noise. The question is, will Dad's firm adapt and survive at market rates, or will his pride force him to the business park by the airport? She left looking shell-shocked, her designer heels echoing through the construction zone. Above, my penthouse office gleamed in the sunlight, a beacon of success they'd been too arrogant to see. Sometimes revenge isn't just about winning, it's about making them pay rent while they watch you win. 3 months into the renovations, my parents' world had shrunk to exactly the dimensions of their overpriced lease. I watched their descent from my penthouse observatory, each day bringing a new lesson in humility they'd never intended to learn. Your father's firm lost the Stevenson account this morning, my assistant reported, sliding a folder across my desk. They moved to Hamilton and Reed, our new tenants on the 23rd floor. The floor with the upgraded conference rooms? I smiled, knowing Dad could see their success from his increasingly empty office. How unfortunate. My phone buzzed with its daily schadenfreude. Dad's client list down 40%. Mom's social circle relocating to Country Club East. Building occupancy at 98% premium rates. 3 more law firms inquiring about 15th floor. Miss Phoenix, the intercom crackled. Your father's here. He's insisting on seeing the property owner. I pulled up the security feed. Dad stood in the lobby, his once immaculate suit showing signs of wear. Amazing how quickly appearance slips when you're paying market rate for everything. Send him up, I decided. It's time for our quarterly tenant review anyway. The private elevator delivered him directly to my success, all 5,000 square feet of it. His eyes darted around the space, taking in the original artwork, the rare sculptures, the clear symbols of wealth he'd never thought his daughter could achieve. Impressive office, he managed, trying to maintain his corporate facade. Must be nice having family money to fall back on. Family money? I laughed, genuinely amused. Dad, I built this empire while you were mocking my little business ventures. Every piece of art, every square foot earned, not inherited. Victoria, he tried a different approach. Be reasonable. These rates, these changes, you're destroying decades of business relationships. No, Dad, I corrected, pulling up the building's financial reports. I'm optimizing an underperforming asset. Isn't that what you always preached? Sentiment has no place in business, unless it's your sentiment. My phone lit up again. New tenant contracts finalized. Dad's firm, 3 more clients transitioning out. Building value up another 12%. Mom's charity board meeting relocated, space unavailable. Your mother's devastated, he played his last card. Her social standing was built on borrowed privilege, I finished. Just like your firm's reputation. Amazing how quickly both crumble when exposed to actual market forces. The intercom buzzed. Miss Phoenix? The architectural team is ready to present the plans for the new executive floor. Perfect timing, I smiled. Dad, would you like to see what's replacing your outdated office layout? The Innovation Hub concept is quite impressive, though unfortunately, the rent might be out of your current budget. His face darkened. You're enjoying this. Enjoying what? I asked innocently. Maximizing property value? Attracting premium tenants? Creating a modern business environment? Isn't that exactly what you taught me to do? I pulled up more displays, the building's transformation plans, the soaring occupancy rates, the waiting list of prestigious firms eager to claim space. Your lease review is due, I continued, sliding across a tablet. I've taken the liberty of calculating the new rates based on current market value. He stared at the numbers, his face paling. This is impossible. No firm could sustain these costs. Hamilton and Reed seems to manage, I noted. Along with the other 38 companies that signed at the new rates. Perhaps the problem isn't the market, Dad. Perhaps it's your business model. My phone buzzed continuously. Dad's parking access downgraded again. Building amenities update, exclusive access implemented. Mom's social club completely demolished. New tenant inquiries exceeding available space. You have 3 options, I laid them out clinically. 1. Accept the new rates and adapt your business model. 2. Relocate to more budget-friendly accommodations. 3. Close up shop and admit that maybe, just maybe, your daughter understands modern business better than you do. You're forcing me out, he accused. No, Dad, I corrected. Market forces are forcing you out. I'm just the property owner enforcing standard business practices. Isn't that what you always said? Business is business, unless it's your daughter's business. He left looking defeated, his shoulders slumped in a way I'd never seen. The mighty corporate titan, brought low by the daughter he'd dismissed as playing at business. My phone lit up one final time. Dad's firm filing for restructuring. Building waitlist growing. Property portfolio value exceeding projections. Mom's social membership permanently terminated. I stood at my window watching the sun set on their era of privilege. Below, construction crews transformed their former social sanctuaries into modern, profitable spaces. Their world was literally being demolished and rebuilt, and they'd have to pay premium rates to access whatever replaced it. Sometimes revenge isn't just about success. It's about making them rent space in the empire they never thought you could build.